What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another tutorial. Today, as you can tell, my boy Brandon, he needs a fresh fade and a lineup, so let's get straight into it. Haircuts tutorial that we were doing the tour of my station. Alright, to get the cut started, we're going to be going in with our number 5 guard, and as you guys can tell throughout the video, I'm going to be going in from every direction, making sure I'm getting all the hairs nice and even, and at the very end of the haircut, I'm going to go over it again, just to double check it and make sure everything is nice and even. I'm going to fast forward the rest of this, but I just wanted to show you guys that I'd be going in all the different directions, making sure I'm going against the grain on every hair. Alright, to set in my bald line, I'm grabbing my clipper and going lever closed, and the reason that I'm doing this as opposed to using my trimmer and setting a hard line is because this makes the bald line a lot easier to remove. And throughout this fade, I'm actually going to be fading down, and I find that this makes it a lot easier, makes it a lot softer, and I will be going obviously under the bald line with my shaver and my trimmer. Next, I'm grabbing my number 2 guard, kind of trying to clear the bulk, but at the same time, as you can tell, I'm kind of doing an over-exaggerated flick out motion, trying to blend into the top, which was a number 5, as much as possible. Throughout the tutorial, though, I will go in with my number 2, number 3, just to kind of blend into that top a little bit more, and make that blend into the top a little bit softer. And as you guys can tell now, I just closed my lever, just going right under the 2 open. As I said at the beginning of the tutorial, we are fading down, so we're going to kind of keep going down in guards and slowly fade down to the bald line that we set. Alright, now time for the 1.5 guard, and as you guys can tell, I'm actually not going all the way up to where we were last time with the last step. I'm going just under that 2 closed, and as you guys can see here, I closed my lever on my 1.5 as well, going just under that. You don't want to take it up too high because you don't want to accidentally create a new line. I find this is very efficient. If you guys have watched my StockCraft Rebel review, you guys know I don't actually like using the StockCraft guards. This is actually my very first time trying out the StockCraft Rebels with the guards. This is before I got my own Rebel. I'm just borrowing a friend's. So if you guys haven't watched my review on the StockCraft Rebels, you haven't seen how I feel about the StockCraft guards, I'm gonna put the card in the top right corner. Go ahead and check it out right after this video. Alright, now we're just repeating the same steps, just with my number 1 guard, and as you guys can tell, the fade is starting to come together, starting to fade down a little bit. You can see the bottom of the line is getting lighter, and as you guys can tell here, I'm also using a lot of my corners, kind of trying to detail as I go down. I don't do this all the time. I sometimes like to leave all the detailing to the very end, but as you guys can tell here, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's whatever works for you. I just see the dark spots, so I take them out with my number 1 guard, and again, closing it, just going right under where I went with my 1 open. And as you guys can tell, I'm kind of flicking out, making sure I'm not really putting any new lines. And don't be worried if you do. You can just change your guard and go back and detail it. The reason that I like fading down like this is I find that it's also really efficient. You don't have to keep putting on and off guards. You put a guard on pretty much one time, except obviously when you go in with your detailing. But I just find this to be a very efficient way to fade, especially since we set in our bald line with just the lever closed. It's going to make taking out that bald line a lot easier and more efficient as well. Alright, now dropping down to my half guard, repeating the same steps, going up just under where I put in my one guard. But as you guys can tell, I'm also using my corners just to detail any dark spots that I see. And again, some barbers wouldn't do this and would leave it to the end, which I understand. In this case, I decided to do it because I just find it's easier for me, it works better for me, and it eliminates the detailing time that I need at the very end, and I don't have to switch guards back and forth too many times. Alright, now I put on my one guard to detail the fade before I take out my zero line. Quite honestly, you could take out the zero line and then do the detailing. Again, it's whatever works for you. There is no one right answer. As long as your results are nice, that's what really matters. But one thing I did want to point out is with fading down, sometimes you can take the fade up or stretch the fade out more. I personally like a more stretched fade. I think it looks nicer. So a lot of times you'll see me do more stretched fades because I think it looks a little bit nicer. But if you do want to do a more compressed fade, you have to be aware of that while you're doing your fading down, making sure you're not taking your guards up higher than you want to, because it can be easy to accidentally stretch the fade even when you don't want to with fading down. Now to kind of bring the fade a little bit together, we're going without a guard, starting with the lever open, and as you guys will see, kind of closing the lever little by little, going lower and getting rid of that zero line. And you guys will see I actually won't have to close my lever all the way because I did set in my bald line with the lever closed. So realistically, with the lever halfway open or at 25% open, should be able to get the line out very nicely. And you guys can see I'm also using my corners to kind of detail right above it any dark spots that I see. Alright, now that the fade is pretty much done, we're going to take our guards again and detail any dark spots that we see. And like I said before, I want to kind of blend into the top a little bit better as well, and that's what you guys are gonna see me do here. Follow with the guard number that you see in the bottom left corner of the screen to see what guard I'm using, and you guys will see I'm using a lot of my corners here in order to detail. Honestly, this step is probably one of the most important steps, and this is one of the steps that's going to take your fades to the next level. If you're not spending time detailing your fades, taking out that, those little dark spots, you got to start doing it, because that's what's going to take your fades from good to great and take them to that next level that you want to take them. Spend a little bit extra time detailing, and I promise you it'll be worth it. Right now, as you guys can see, taking my trimmer and balding out right under where the lever closed was, And you guys will see I will do the tiniest flick out when I get to the top, because I don't want to accidentally create a line between the lever closed and the trimmer, because these trimmers are zero gapped, and I don't want to create a line there. So I'm just clearing that bulk, as you can see, going over multiple times, making sure that all the hairs are gone before I follow it up with my shaver. Alright, here as you can tell, I realized that it was a little bit too bulky at the top into the blend, so I took out my thinning shears and my texturizing shears, and I just went in a little bit, just cutting just the ends of the hairs at the very top, like I said, just to smoothen out the blend into the top. Again, like I said, you gotta focus on the small details. I could have left it the way it was, but I wasn't happy with it, and I just wanted to make it that little bit smoother. And now I'm going in with my shaver, my Bronze Series 9. I've said it once, I'll say it again, and I'll say it for a very, very long time. Best shaver I've ever used, super smooth, worth every penny, and I'd recommend it to every single barber. Alright, now I know that I cut his beard off camera. I couldn't find the right angle, but we're getting started with the lineup. As you can tell, I'm kind of putting my guide in the middle, and here actually we were talking about one of our barbers at the shop, Mo. Mo, we love you. I had to leave this part of the clip in, and you guys just gotta hear what Brandon says.
Problem is when you go, whenever you're ready. When he says that to the camera. Sounds like Rocky IV. I had to say it, bro. I had to say it.
Alright, now back to the lineup. As you guys saw, I put in my kind of guide for the lineup right in the middle, and I'm following that to the right side, and you'll see that the other side is actually a lot lighter, and so instead of pushing him back or anything, he likes it more natural. He understands that one side is going to look a little bit lighter, and he's okay with that. So you guys will see one side won't really look as sharp, and that's completely okay. And a lot of clients are not going to have the perfect hairline, so it's very important to communicate with them before doing anything, and making sure they understand that it's not you're doing that that maybe one side is a little bit lighter. So communication with your clients is key. In this case, he's a barber, so he understands, but an everyday client might not really understand it, so so naturally. So you want to communicate with them, you want to ask them the right questions, and you want to communicate with them throughout the whole process, so they know what you're doing, why you're doing, and how you're doing it. And as you guys can tell, I'm kind of comb checking a little bit more here, just to make sure I'm getting all the hairs and I'm not missing any hairs, because I don't want him to go home, shower, and then when he comes out, his lineup looks different than when he left the shop. Alright, now time for the finishing touches. I'm just going in with my razor on his lineup and behind his ears, making sure everything is clean, crisp, no hairs left. This is, again, just a little bit extra, making sure that the haircut is extra clean. But I will say, when it comes to your razor work, again, as I've said multiple times throughout this video, communication with your clients is key, because some clients might not actually be quite comfortable with you using the razor on them. So it's very important, especially if it's their first time, to ask them before doing so. And there you guys have it. There's the results. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos. Thank you for watching, and have an amazing rest of your day.